Hello everyone, my name is Colin, and last time we talked about Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. But remember, that's NES. And in 1988, the Sega Mega Drive and PC Engine came out, though a year later they'd be known as the Sega Genesis and this TurboGrafx 16. So Nintendo had competition on their hands, and they needed to do something about it quick. So, in 1989, they started working on some newer hardware. They thought of some names of it, like the NES 2, but they eventually came up with the Super Nintendo, or Super Famicom, but anyways, when that name came up with, they needed to make the hardware and then make some games for it. And of course, one of the biggest names in gaming was Mario. And since Mario 3 here was such a success, they thought, hey, let's make a new game, a Super Mario Bros. 4, or Super Mario World. And so, they started working on it, and funny enough, it started out as just testing Mario 3 out on the newer hardware. And so, in 1990, specifically November 21st, 1990, and I believe August 23rd of 1991, this sucker debuted, and yes, it was after a certain Hedgehog had come out. Well, did well. Of course, it was one of the 5 SNES launch titles, alongside such games as Gradius 3, F-Zero, SimCity, and this was the main standout title, and it became the best-selling SNES game of all time. So, why don't we pop this sucker in and check it out? But of course, we need to talk about the story. After the Mario Brothers defeated Bowser in the last game, Mario and Luigi and Princess Toadstool take a vacation to Dinosaur Land, which is an island, but whatever. Unfortunately, this is where the Super Mario Sunshine comparisons come to an end. Mario and Luigi screw around for a bit when they get there, but during that, they find out that the princess was kidnapped once again. Then they find a dinosaur, Yoshi, who tells them that Bowser is back and captured his friends too. So they need to venture out Dinosaur Land, find Yoshi's friends, and rescue Princess Toadstool. Well, that's a Mario plot if I've ever heard one. But what's most important is the gameplay, and man has it improved. I said that Mario controlled pretty good in Mario 3, but he is absolutely perfect in Mario World. Since we're on the SNES, you jump with B and hold run with Y, which feels perfect in the hands. Not only that, but we have a new spin jump by pressing the A button. What does it do? You can make enemies explode and destroy blocks. It's great. Something I forget about in this game is that the shoulder buttons get kind of forced into this game. They basically move the camera to the left or right, but I never used it except for remembering to do it for this review. Here's something new for the Mario series: saving. Why saving or passwords weren't a thing for Mario 3 is beyond me, but I gladly appreciate it here. Speaking of Mario 3, they removed the thing where you'll be Super Mario after a hit with a power-up. Now, this feature wasn't in the Japanese Mario 3, but the localization team probably should have acknowledged this. After each part of Dinosaur Land is what the other games called Worlds: Yoshi's Island, Donut Plains, Butter Bridge, Vanilla Dome, Chocolate Island. Why some parts of Dinosaur Land is named after food is beyond me, but hey, it's not like it makes me hungry or anything. One of my least favorite parts of the island is the Forest of Illusion. Forest of Illusion, what is that? The sequel to Castle of Illusion and prequel to World of Illusion? Well, there's no Mickey Mouse here, but we do have a ghost house. That's a new type of level being introduced in this game. It's basically full of boos from the castles in Mario 3, with some new boo variations, but the ghost houses are mazes. Now, that's not why I'm not a fan of Forest of Illusion. It's because you need to get all the secret exits in, all of the stages. You see, if the circle is yellow, it only has one exit. However, if the circle is red, it has multiple exits. The normal exit and the secret exit. Most of the time, the secret exit is finding a key and being sucked into the keyhole. Sometimes these secret exits can lead to these stars, which send you to Star World, and if you get the right exit and the levels in there, you can go to the Star Road. These here are the hardest levels in the game, and they have weird names. Gnarly, tubular, way cool, awesome, groovy, mondo, outrageous, and funky. Also, the Super Famicom and European SNES logo is at the top of the screen, so that's kind of cool. What's also kind of cool is Dinosaur Land itself. Instead of one area being finished and then moving on to the next, Super Mario World, well, feels like a world you can explore. Dinosaur Land is so big and it's so interconnected, it just is amazing. Since we're talking about levels, these are some of the best designed levels in the entire Mario series. These levels, no matter how far in the game, are designed extremely well. I mean, some of the special world levels can kind of suck it, but I did have a pretty good time. Remember how I said in Mario 3 that the levels felt schizophrenic in difficulty progression? Well, in Mario World that's not the case anymore. All the levels slowly progress in difficulty. Does that mean that the game is extremely easy in the beginning? Not really. Even the first few levels offer you a little bit of challenge, but the challenge keeps up with the amount of levels you play. How many levels are there? 96. Oh my god. However, you don't have to play all of them, but it's great that they offer you that many to complete. Because even if you have beaten the game, you can try to beat all of the levels to play more of the game. Replayability, in other words. Speaking of that, there's these switch palaces that have giant buttons on them. These make the colors of these blocks appear in the stages that they're in. There are also these dragon coins that don't really do anything. In the GBA version, you get a screen that congratulates you for getting them all, but from what I hear, it's not really worth getting. Now, you might be looking at Mario here, noticing the lack of power-ups. That's right, all of those cool power-ups from Mario 3 are gone. However, we got two more in this game. Also, there's a blue box that allows you to use a power-up after losing your current one. There's one that appears in one level called the P Balloon, where Mario usually turns into a fat Italian balloon. The other one is one of the best power-ups in the Mario series, though it's also one of the most childish looking in the franchise. The Cape Feather. Unlike the Super Leaf in Mario 3, when you use the Cape Feather, you have to run and jump, and then you can fly by pressing left and right simultaneously in the air. Sounds complicated, but once you learn it, it's one of the most satisfying power-ups in a video game. You can also float by holding the jump button, and though you can't fly forever in mid-air with Yoshi. Oh yeah, Yoshi exists. One of the most popular Mario characters to date. Yoshi made his first appearance here in this game, though he was wanted to be in the first Super Mario Bros. Game, though due to limitations, Nintendo couldn't put him in until this game. The cool thing about Yoshi is that when you're riding him, there's an added percussion. What does Yoshi do? Well, he's basically another hit point and can almost eat anything in your path. You can also bring him into levels after beating them, well, except for castles and ghost houses. Unlike later Mario games, Yoshi can do more than eat shells. Like if he eats a red shell, he can spit fireballs, and if he eats a blue shell, he can fly, etc. One of those secret exits from earlier also makes you sacrifice Yoshi. Also, Mario is hitting Yoshi in the back of the head to make him spit out his tongue. I feel like this game hates Yoshi. The boss fights are pathetic. They're still fun, but still pathetic. The Koopalings are back, but at least they're not the same thing over and over again. But they're pretty easy and some boss fights repeat themselves. But then, there's Bowser. In a clown copter. And for some reason he's green? What is this, a Super Mario Bros. Super Show? And there's cannonballs the size of the clown copter itself coming out of it, and then he's throwing out these Mecha Koopa things which you can kick up to hit Bowser. What kind of villain is this? I never really questioned his motive, but does he hate Mario at this point? I mean, his castle is very obvious that it's his castle. What's this here? The back door? The freaking back door? What kind of dumb villain has a back door to his castle? This back door here leads directly to Bowser, so if you're a speedrunner or hate the mentally disabled, then go here. I'm gonna go in because I want to get this review over with. With every castle or fortress you beat, you save a Yoshi egg, which is one of Yoshi's friends I mentioned earlier. In Bowser's castle, you finally save Princess Peach, Toadstool. You know what? Who cares? I don't know why I called her Princess Toadstool in the beginning. Well, besides that, that's what her initial name was everywhere else besides Japan, because her real name is Princess Peach, because that's what she's been called in the beginning in Japan, and we wouldn't call her that until Super Mario 64. But then again, who cares? I'm not even going to review that game, or at least in the distant future, I might talk about it, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, I'm thinking of talking about Super Mario Land 1 and 2, 6 Golden Coins. And that will end off the Mario Marathon. Maybe. In conclusion, Super Mario World is super good. More perfect than Super Mario Bros. 3 and like the graphics department, maybe not color, the level design, the enemies, the enemy variety is just insane. Like we got old enemies and a couple of new ones too, and it's got a perfect amount. And if you want to play the definitive version of this game, well, all of them are pretty good. Well, I'd say the best version is Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World, since Luigi's sprite is actually different and not Green Mario, and since Yoshi's arms are actually green and not orange. And I think some other things, but I haven't really played that version much. And there is Super Mario Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance. And the thing is, due to this thing's sound quality, it doesn't really sound the best. And also the colors are a bit washed out, probably because it came out in like 2002 or something, and yeah, this thing didn't have a backlight, so you couldn't see anything, so it makes sense why the colors are washed out. And the music in this game, I haven't talked about it, but it's so good. When it comes to Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World soundtrack, I always debate with myself what's better, because I love Super Mario Bros. 3 soundtrack, but Super Mario World soundtrack is also really, really good. Even though it does that thing, I don't know if it has a name, but it has like the same theme, like all across every single music track, just different in slight ways. Other games have done this before, like for example, Pac-Man World 2 on GameCube. This isn't a really good example of a game that does it. Like you can tell that it's the same theme over and over again. But with Super Mario World, you have to sit there for a second and think, oh wait, it is! And I love the way it's done. But anyways, this is one of my favorite Mario games of all time, and out of all the games I reviewed so far, even Mario games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Ghosts and Goblins, and that 3D Monster Maze game, I'd say look at this. Like, out of all of them, please play this game in any way you can. I would say Wii Virtual Console, but that thing's been taken down. There is the Game Boy Advance version, like I mentioned before. It's on the Wii U Virtual Console, 3DS Virtual Console. It's on the Switch. And, well, you could just download it on an emulator, and of course there's also the physical cartridge. And for this video I used the SNES Classic, which is also a good example, but I have this game in my collection because I love it so much. I wouldn't call it like my top 10 favorite games of all time. 20 definitely, but it's still pure greatness, and I'd even call it my favorite 2D Mario game of all time. And, well, it's a 2D platformer masterpiece. But, in the meantime, we got other Mario games to look at, specifically 2 of them, on Nintendo's handheld console released in 1989, the Game Boy. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. See you then. Fuzzy Pickles. Bye. See you later. Get off this video right now.